We are back in San Jose, getting set for the Rangers and the San Jose Sharks. Second meeting of the season. Rangers won in New York 4-0 early in the season. Closed captioning is brought to you by the New York Lottery. Hey, you never know. Let's check our Audi goaltending matchup, and back in goal is Henrik Lundqvist. You see him with 19 wins, 5 shutouts, are second in the league, and he has won 10 of his last 11. And across the way is Antti Niemi, 2-1-1 lifetime against the Rangers. The goaltending has been a little off for the Sharks in recent games.
Yeah, for sure. They've had some of those games now where it's just been awful and good at other times, and not the consistency they're looking for.
Underway with the Rangers starting Kevin Hayes with Jesper Fast and Carl Hagelin. Mark Stahl and Dan Boyle gets to start the game here in San Jose. Starting lineups coming in at the top of your screen, brought to you by Infiniti. Luxury cars that deliver inspired performance.
Now, Dan Boyle talked this morning about the importance of this game. He thought back to his first game back in Tampa Bay, and with fondness, and this one as well.
He had a good experience here. Here's a wraparound try by Shepard, number 15. It was stopped by Lundqvist. And the puck is cleared out of the zone, sent right back in. Sharks had a good stretch where they won 9 out of 10 after being at 500. Then of late, 3-4-1. Some injuries set in, and as we mentioned, some inconsistencies. Rangers starting a change. Zuccarello under pressure from Joe Pavelski. Pavelski centers, and it's blocked by Brassard. Brassard, Nash, and Zuccarello on with Girardi and Mark Stahl. Mark Stahl's not been able to get off. He started the game and is still on. The puck around the boards. Logan Couture, number 39. Joe Pavelski, number 8, pressuring Stahl. Pass in front, deflected in front and cleared out of the crease. Good play by Girardi. Heads-up play. Pavelski, early pressure by the Sharks.
Real good start by San Jose. And Todd McClellan, their head coach, told us this morning, generally after they've been looked badly, like you mentioned, Sam, in St. Louis, they've come back strong.
Couture blocked. Good job by McDonough and Kreider. Matt Nieto is on, number 83. Number Boston University star. The puck deflects out of play. We played a minute 43, and I think all of it has been in the Ranger zone.
It has. The one time the puck went in to the San Jose zone, it was an icing. And so the Rangers on their heels early. Alain Vigneault, before the game, was talking about how well they played in the two ends. In their zone defensively, and then they've taken that and they've performed well offensively with pressure in the offensive zone throughout this streak.
Rangers have Stepan St. Louis and Kreider with McDonough. And Kevin Klein has come on. Puck around the boards. McDonough there to play it. Up for St. Louis. Little touch pass for Stepan, but he couldn't control it. Now he fires it in. Niemi out to stop the puck. Justin Braun, number 61 on defense. Puck fired out. There's Joe Thornton on the ice for the first time after missing 4 games with a shoulder injury. Back into the Rangers zone. Lundqvist started to go for it. John Moore is on. He's caught up by time again. Here's Lee Stempniak. The Rangers able to clear out. Dominic Moore, Lee Stempniak, and JT Miller on for the Rangers. John Moore, and now Dan Girardi. That shot was stopped. The rebound going wide. McGinn getting a good chance. Fourth line for the Sharks here. Shot by Desjardins was blocked. Desjardins number 10, McGinn number 25, and Barclay Goodrow number 89, the line for the Sharks. The puck out of play, and play stops once more.
Now the Sharks are really off to a good start, skating, forcing turnovers. The Rangers haven't had the puck much as of yet. Nice job in the neutral zone there, and then McGinn with the shot. Lundqvist able to fight that off, gets in the position for a second save as well.
Good start for the Sharks, putting pressure on. The Rangers just trying to withstand it here. Brassard Nash and Zuccarello on, with Mark Stahl and Ryan McDonough. So a different kind of rotation for the Rangers thus far on defense to start the game. Stahl had it knocked away. McDonough is playing the right side here with Stahl on the left side.
Well, I think Dan Boyle went to the locker room, Sam.
Okay.
So that, you know, throws a wrench into everything, and now they're going to have to rotate 5.
Puck in the Shark zone, kept in by Stahl. Brassard in deep. Brassard around the net, pass in front, tipped away. Stahl comes down to play it. Logan Couture checking him. Now McDonough in deep. Nash is there. Nash checked by Pavelski. Pass across was tipped by Couture, but kept in by Stahl. Knocked away from in front. And cleared out to Pavelski. Sharks almost had too many men on the ice.
They did. They might get called here, Sam. I think they are.
Hurdle jumped on. Tried to jump off. The two referees, the officials now getting together to discuss it.
Now, they called it at first. When I see this, it makes me think that maybe they're going to discuss it and then maybe reverse it.
It's Dan O'Halloran.
It looks like they're going to reverse it, Sam. Because when you go instead of to the penalty box to report it, and you go to the visiting coach and you say,
explain it.
I think, okay, they're
that's hurdle jumping on.
Yeah, I mean there's 6 on the ice and they have control of the puck. I don't know why they reversed it.
But they did.
But they did.
And Todd McClellan is satisfied with that. We're nearly 4 minutes in. No score in the game. And Shepard fires in. Stopped behind the net by Lundqvist for Klein. Klein and John Moore on defense, and Lundqvist diving out to stop play. And we'll go downstairs to ice level where John Giannone is standing by. John.
Yeah, guys, I'm off to the left of Henrik Lundqvist. The door where the Rangers enter and exit the ice is right where I'm sitting. Dan Boyle actually exited the ice really quickly with a towel over his face. Jim Ramsey, the athletic trainer, was quickly behind him. So they're off getting repairs, and that's what I was able to see just as Dan Boyle was apparently hit with a stray puck or stick a couple minutes into this game, guys.
Thanks, John. Not a good sign, obviously, but hopefully Dan Boyle will be okay to return. Joe Thornton, Derek Stepan on the draw. Brendan Dillon playing it deep. Justin Braun, number 61, was there. This is Patrick Marleau. Long shot stopped by Lundqvist with a blocker. Thornton winds it around. Nieto gets there. Played across from Braun to Dillon. Off the end boards, Marleau tried to get it to Thornton. Kept in by Braun. Stepan tried to take it away. Nice pass to Nieto off the post. Rising shot that clanged off the post. There's Brendan Dillon, and that's blocked by St. Louis. Once again, all the play in the Ranger zone. Nieto leaves it in the corner.
They're the quicker team right now, San Jose. I mean, they are playing fast. They're getting the loose pucks. They're about a half a step ahead of the Rangers with the way they're getting the pucks, moving the puck, finding the open man. And Henrik Lundqvist has had to be good here early.
Girardi holding. Up ahead for Stempniak. Tried to hit Dominic Moore. Moore tries to get around Desjardins. And the puck cleared out by Scott Hannon. Hard pass touched ahead by Miller, but blocked at the line by the Sharks. Back in they come. Barclay Goodrow, number 89, is stopped. Miller with a good pass to Stempniak. Stempniak with Dominic Moore. Moore in the corner against Tennyson, number 80. Goodrow, number 89, is there for the Sharks. Miller trying to play it. Moore is there. Goodrow lifts it off the glass and out of the zone. It was a good job on the Rangers' fourth line getting the puck in deep. There's Stempniak again. Tennyson able to, that's Brent Burns, number 88. On with Marc-Edouard Vlasic, number 44. Puck intercepted by Zuccarello. Now a little more play in the Shark zone. The puck got by McDonough, but he recovers. Over 6 minutes gone by in the first. Zuccarello fires it in. Vlasic tried to play it. Taken away by Nash. Vlasic has it back. Around the board, stopped by Brassard. Brassard checked by Burns. Burns plays it up the boards. And past Stahl back to the Rangers zone. Zuccarello goes back to get it. Logan Couture chasing him. Zuccarello lost control. McDonough with Shepard on the forecheck for the Sharks. McDonough fires out. Tries to lead Hagelin. Hagelin and Braun go after it. Braun able to move it. Dillon took down Jesper Fast. Away from the play. Sharks move in. Rangers, John Moore got a piece of it. Puck deflects out of play. And play stops. Nearly 7 minutes into the first period. 13:01 to go in the first. No score.
Yeah, the Rangers hanging in. They've had just one shot through the first 7 minutes. And we go back to Dan Boyle in front. Watch what happens. That's James Shepard, 15. Looks like arm, and then he falls down right on top of his head. So Boyle defending well, comes over, does a good job on Shepard, takes an elbow first, and then Shepard falls straight on top of him, and that's what took him past John Giannone to the Ranger locker room.
Stepan Kreider and St. Louis on. The face-off won back by Thornton. And played by Brendan Dillon, number 4. Dillon up ahead for Thornton. It's broken up by McDonough. Pushed ahead, and offside was whistled on the play. 7:14 gone by here in the first. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you don't have to miss a minute of the Knicks on MSG. Introducing MSG Go, the only app that lets you watch MSG Network's coverage of live Knicks games anywhere. Download now at the App Store or Google Play. MSG Go is currently available to Optimum subscribers.
By the way, Dan Boyle came back, went to the bench. He actually got a nice applause along with Jim Ramsey.
He's gotten a couple of good ovations here.
I wonder if Jim Ramsey thought the applause was for him.
He probably did. It was excellent work getting Dan Boyle back into the game. Dominic Moore under pressure, winds it back. John Moore's got it. Niemi plays it to the boards. Rangers take over. Miller to Stempniak. Stempniak makes a move there on Patrick Marleau. Out to Mark Stahl for the shot. And it might have deflected wide. Niemi reached out to block it.
Yeah, I think it hit Miller. Miller did a good job in front along with Dominic Moore.
Kevin Klein back to get the puck. No score in the game and not many shots. Sharks have 4. On the shot clock. Rangers have not been credited with a shot on goal, Joe. The timeouts are in the middle. The 1-1 in the middle,
right?
Those are timeouts. And the shots are 4 for the Sharks, and the Rangers have nothing on their side. So it's a confusing board.
Sure is. I'm spoiled by the one we have at home.
That's icing on the Sharks. Fans don't like it. And Mark Stahl was ahead on the chase for the puck.
There's Dan Boyle. You can see the injured nose still seeping a little bit. And he's got to get that to stop bleeding. They won't let him play if his nose is bleeding. So.
And Broussard is chased by the linesman, who's out by the blue line. And Zuccarello comes in to take the face off. Desjardins wins it back. Brent Burns fires ahead. In to Goodrow. Time again shoved down hard by Girardi. Zuccarello leads Nash. Rick Nash will represent the Rangers at the All-Star game, his 6th All-Star appearance. Congratulations to him. He certainly deserves it, has earned it. There's Couture stopped by Girardi.
I hope they name him one of the captains. That would be nice. Back in Columbus, be a good thing for him.
Good point. Out to the point man, Brent Burns. He stick-handled on the line, pulled it out. And the linesman right there made the call for offside. Burns doesn't like the call at all.
I mean, we talked about this San Jose team, not a real high-scoring team. They're top two lines, but that third and fourth line, which you see now, McGinn is a part of that. They play hard, and Dan Girardi did a nice job getting right to McGinn, taking him out of the play, dislodging him from the puck.
Face-off win. Sharks are dominating on face-offs thus far in the game. Stahl is hit on the forecheck by Tommy Wingels. That shot by Dillon deflects wide as Lundqvist was screened on the play. Wingels with a back pass, and the puck taken away by the Rangers. Hayes able to get it to Boyle. Boyle was checked from behind, but the Rangers get it deep. Hagelin in after it against Dillon. Dan Boyle toward the net. Save. Niemi, that looks like the Rangers' first shot on goal nearly 10 minutes in. Centered in front. That's backhanded wide. First shot at 9:51. Dan Boyle getting it on goal. A little past the midway point of the first. Missed by Hayes, stopped by Shepard, and Marleau sends it deep.
That's where San Jose's really done a good job here early. They're just not letting the Rangers make that pass coming out of their zone so that they come through the neutral zone with any speed.
Big-time forecheck pressure by the Sharks. All the way around to Girardi. Rangers able to break out. Here's Dominic Moore. Now Miller. That's deflected across. Sharks turn it. Pass too far for Nieto. And an icing is whistled with 9:23 to go in this first period. Scoreless game. Rangers have yet to find their game.
You know, Sam, again, we talked about this Sharks team not scoring as much. When you see Patrick Marleau with 7 goals halfway through a season, you know things aren't going exactly the way they hoped. He's starting to get a few more chances lately.
And the Rangers score. Marty St. Louis off the face-off. The first period thus far dominated by the Sharks, and the Rangers win a draw. St. Louis scores 1-0.
Yeah, and dominated on face-offs as well. That puck is actually won again, but what a play by Kreider. Watch Kreider just reach back with his stick, one hand on his stick, and just kind of swipes it over to Marty St. Louis. So the Rangers lose another draw cleanly by Joe Thornton, who is at over 57% on the season. He's one of the best. And the Rangers use that little turnover, real good play by Kreider. And that's the one thing we've seen out of the Rangers wingers because of their lack of winning faceoffs. Their wings have done a good job of getting in and helping out. Kreider does it there, and they score a goal.
4th goal for St. Louis in his last 8 games. He continued to put up points, and what a big goal for the Rangers. Wow, that has to deflate the Sharks. Up the post. That just missed. Niemi waved the glove at it, missed it, and it banged off the post. So each team with 1 post.
Yeah, surprise shot by Brassard.
Zuccarello. Nash in the corner. Brassard battling in front. That was Boyle coming in and just missing a chance. Stahl tied up in front of the Rangers bench by Pavelski. Nash lifts it in the Shark zone. So on their second shot on goal in the game, the Rangers score. The goal by Marty St. Louis. And the Rangers with a 1-0 lead, and we've got an interference call on the Rangers here. Looks like Chris Kreider will go off. Sharks will get a power play. Kreider upset with a call. St. Louis assisted by Kreider and Stepan. 1-0 Rangers. Huge ovation for Dan Boyle. They just paid tribute to him with a very nice video on the video board. He stands and acknowledges the crowd. What an ovation for Dan Boyle, who played here for 6 years and was a big part not only of the team, but in the community as well.
When he wipes his nose, is he still wiping the blood, or is that the emotions
could be
that he's going through right now? A little of both, probably.
Power play Sharks on the interference call to Chris Kreider. Set up in front. Saved by Lundqvist on Pavelski. Joe Thornton behind the net. Couture. Rangers have Girardi and McDonough with Stepan and Nash. Pavelski to Brent Burns. That's a deflection, a save by Lundqvist.
He's off to a good start, isn't he, Lundqvist?
Yes. Wow. Marleau to Thornton. Thornton looking. Pass back to Pavelski. Now to Couture. Logan Couture. Patrick Marleau finds Burns. Saved by Lundqvist. Fired and blocked by Pavelski. Pavelski again. Gets it back from Burns. Pavelski looking. Now it's Joe Thornton. That goes by Marleau. McDonough gets there. Pushes it ahead. Nash tried to clear. Kept in by Brent Burns. Pavelski to Thornton. That pass tipped by McDonough. Thornton has it back. 55 seconds to go on the power play. Shot blocked by Girardi. Bounces down. Batted at. Blocked and kept in by Burns. Now Pavelski. Left it behind. Long shot saved by Lundqvist. On the shot by Logan Couture. Shot by Burns. Saved by Lundqvist with a left pad. And it's cleared. It's the Henrik Lundqvist show.
Wow. 3 times the Rangers had a chance to clear. They could not. And they forced Lundqvist to come up with big saves to keep this a 1-0 game.
Sharks out shooting the Rangers 8-2. Rangers lead 1-0. 20 seconds to go. Sharks power play. Tomas Hertl, who scored 4 goals against the Rangers last season, is on that shot deflected. There's Hertl, the youngster from the Czech Republic. And a giveaway to Kevin Klein. The Rangers come out with it. Just as the power play is about to end. Dominic Moore, saved by Niemi. Team's back at full strength. Tommy Wingels fires in, glove, and dropped by Lundqvist, but he covers up and stops play.
Now the Rangers penalty killing has also been strong during this streak. But that time, this was all about Lundqvist. Rangers couldn't clear the puck out of their zone. And San Jose just kept on firing at the net. That one was deflected on the way in. Lundqvist got a left pad on that one. And then one from the other side. Lundqvist with the right pad stops that.
Henrik Lundqvist, he was left off the All-Star team.
Right.
But you see the numbers.
Shouldn't have been.
Right now, no one's playing any better.
Shouldn't have been left off. But you know what? Jimmy Howard, who was named to it, got carried off the ice tonight in Washington.
Groin injury.
Groin injury, and they're going to have to name somebody else.
Along the boards, Desjardins able to clear it out. Goudreau sends it in. Lundqvist stops it. You mentioned the Rangers penalty killing. That's moved up to 10th in the league. Rangers power play is now 8th in the league. So the Rangers specialty teams, a big part of this streak. 4 wins in a row, 12 wins in the last 13 for the Rangers. The lead 1-0. Zuccarello try to make a move on Goudreau. Got it out of the zone. 5:25 to go. In the first period, the Rangers with a 1-0 lead. Got Hannon up ahead for Shepard, who dumps it in. Dominic Moore goes after it. Tomas Hertl there. Shepard in the corner against Klein. And out comes Stempniak. 3-man rush joined by Kevin Klein. Klein with the puck. He shoots. Save. Rebound is kept out of the net.
That was Tennyson, I believe, that hit his right leg, number 80, on defense.
What a rush down the ice. And again, that outstanding shot of Kevin Klein.
Yeah, you know what? He just joined the rush. It started off 2-on-2. He joined the rush. I'm sure he yelled to Stempniak that he was coming with him. He did, and it turned into a good scoring chance.
Puck deflects out of play. 4:52 to go in the first period. Dan Boyle acknowledged as a hero here in San Jose. Antti Niemi making a big save on the shot by Kevin Klein.
Yeah, there it is. And it goes off a skate, then off a stick, and Niemi, I thought Tennyson got a piece of it. It was really Niemi that stretched out that right leg and made a second good save.
Stepan Kreider and St. Louis on. The Rangers goal, St. Louis 14th from Kreider and Stepan at 10:40. Here's Girardi. Save, rebound, put in! The Rangers go to the net. Kreider is there to put in the rebound, and it's 2-0 Rangers.
Well, the Rangers, both of their goals now have been scored off of face-offs. And this time, Joe Thornton loses the face-off. Rangers get control. There's that smart play that we've seen the Rangers. Even the bad angles, the key is to shoot the puck low at the pads so that there's a rebound. And Dan Boyle does it. Chris Kreider is so big and strong, Braun can't handle him. And there's the rebound, and Kreider puts it in for the lead.
When you see that, Joe, you realize how good Chris Kreider can be.
Yeah.
He's almost impossible to handle in front.
He's so strong that you can't, if he gets any kind of position, you can't handle it when he's that determined.
So this line of Stepan, Kreider, and St. Louis have produced 2 goals. The other night in L.A. was the line of that's on the ice now with Broussard, Nash, and Zuccarello. That shot deflected up into the netting by Mark Stahl after the whistle. Nash was involved with Melker Karlsson, a rookie from Sweden. Things settle down. 4:21 to go in the second.
Now, just prior to that, Nash got hit hard by Karlsson. That's where that started. Karlsson is only 180 pounds, but Nash says, wait a second. You're a rookie. You played 14 games. This is your 14th game. You can't do that to me.
No.
So he comes right back at him. Karlsson's off to a hot start.
Yeah.
I should say he's got goals in 4 straight games and 9 points in 13 games.
Kreider scored his 8th from Girardi and Stepan at 15-13 to give the Rangers a 2-0 lead. Derek Stepan with 2 assists in the game. In deep, Thornton against McDonough. Marlowe swings it up the boards to Tennyson. Down low, Marlowe trying to slide it through for Nieto. Went all the way into the corner. Stempniak checked there by Marlowe. Thornton against McDonough. Here's Tennyson toward the net, deflected by Nieto and picked up by Dominic Moore. Rangers, who at one point were being outshot 8-1, and now being outshot only 9-7 as they've picked up their game and scored 2 goals here in the second half of the first period.
Yeah, that first goal changed everything. The Rangers were being outplayed. The Rangers score a goal, and it just it did something to San Jose and did something to the Rangers. Positive for the Rangers, negative for the Sharks.
Barclay Goodrow fires it around the boards, and of course the play of Henrik Lundqvist in the first period outstanding, especially on the Sharks power play. St. Louis sends it in. Marty St. Louis with points in 6 of his last 8 games, scoring that first goal. Offside is whistled. Tuesday night on MSG, Rangers back home, and what a game this is going to be. Rangers and Islanders. Islanders in first place in the Metropolitan Division. We're on the air at 6:30 with Visa Rangers Game Night with Al Trautwig, and then Rangers and Islanders. Don't miss it. Islanders winning again tonight, winning back-to-back games. They won in Columbus after they beat the Devils last night. Long shot by John Moore, glove by Antti Niemi. Well, the Islanders, man, they're
strong.
Going.
That's a good team.
Wow.
Their goaltending's better. They added those 2 defensemen in training camp, a couple of forwards, and then the growth of those young kids that we've seen drafted in the last number of years. And they're a good team. And then they've got that number 91 who is about as good as anything.
Took over the game last night, didn't he?
He's just tremendous, yes. Scored late to tie, won it in overtime.
Right here, Kreider against Brendan Dillon. Now Braun after the puck. Kreider battles him. Kreider using his size and strength very, very well. Good hit on Dillon. Couture fires it all the way down, and this will be an icing.
Sorry, Sam. Dillon wants to fight Kreider. He's following him up the ice, jabbing him with the stick.
They waved off the icing, and the Rangers had to play it. Couture tied up Kreider. Karlsson is there, number 68. Kreider trying to move it. Knocked away. Stepan. Nice little pass to Kreider, who brings it out. 2:15 to go in the first period. Rangers with a 2-0 lead. On goals by Marty St. Louis. Open man in front. And the shot by Hagelin was blocked in the crease by Brendan Dillon. The defenseman made the save. Tomas Hertl able to work it ahead for James Sheppard. Sheppard puts it in the Ranger zone. Girardi around to Hagelin, who lifts it out of the zone.
That Ranger quickness caused the turnover and led to that chance. And that was a wide open net, and you're right, Sam. Dillon saved a goal.
McDonough gets away from Nieto, moves it into the corner. Marlowe is there for San Jose. Marlowe again, tied up by Nash. Puck shot by Vlasic, high and wide. Big heavy shot. Brent Burns in deep. Burns third amongst defensemen in scoring in the NHL. He'll be at the All-Star game. In front, Marlowe. But a save by Lundqvist with a left arm. Marlowe in the corner. Nieto winds it around. Thornton chases it down. Vlasic off the end boards. Nice job by McDonough. Bump on Nieto and took the puck. Under a minute to go in the first period. Rangers with a 2-0 lead. Sharks have had moments when they have been dominant. Certainly the first half of the period, and the last shift was a strong one for the Sharks.
The Sharks have been the better team in this first period. They'll trail 2-0.
Stahl tied up. McGinn is there. Good row. McGinn number 25. Stahl on his knees, able to move it to Miller. Stepniak getting it back to Klein and on to Dominic Moore. On goal stop by Niemi.
Well, the Rangers, you can just see they're just making a conscious effort to throw the puck lightly low at the pads because Niemi's leaving rebounds in front of him.
Nice work by Klein. Stahl lifts it out of the zone. Chipped in. And the final seconds pick off the first period. Shots are even at 10. But the goals are 2-0 Rangers. St. Louis and Kreider. Excellent goaltending by Henrik Lundqvist. And the Sharks, they got to be shaking their heads.
Well, for sure, the way they started this game, Lundqvist waited for his team to get going. He just kept making saves, and then here's another one. What a setup that was. Fost, the other side, and then Lundqvist, left arm, keeps that one out. The Sharks had high-quality chances in that period, in particular on the power play, but Lundqvist was the difference.
Rangers head off with a 2-0 lead coming up. It's the Delta Intermission Report. John Giannone rejoins us. His special guest, the All-Star, Rick Nash. Back at the studio in New York, Bill Pito with the Audi MSG 150. Ron Duguay will look at highlights and have his analysis of the first period. Sharks put the pressure on early. Rangers withstood it. And then Marty St. Louis scored first. Chris Kreider with a rebound. 2-0 Rangers, end of one. We are back in San Jose. The Rangers and the Sharks getting set for the second period. New York Rangers hockey on MSG is presented by Chase. And Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. How about the Rangers winning situation this season? They have defeated Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Anaheim, and LA on the road this season. The first Eastern Conference team to do that since 1997-98 when the Bruins and Canadiens did it. The only team, the only Eastern team to defeat those five plus the San Jose Sharks are the Montreal Canadiens. So let's see, the Rangers off to a good start tonight, trying to become the second team to do that.
You know, yeah, he had a great first period, Sam. Derek Brassard, who's taking this face-off, told me this morning, he said, I have never in my career won the first 2 games coming to California. And here they have a chance to sweep tonight.
Yeah. Not an easy thing to do. But the Rangers continue to find ways, and even though they were outplayed for a good portion of that first period, Rangers coming up with 2 goals. That puck deflected deep by Brent Burns. He goes after it against Mark Stahl. Burns looking to play it, but Brassard, nice play to get it to Nash. Rick Nash carries in. 4-on-3 Rangers. Here's Zuccarello off his stick. Zuccarello winds it to Nash. Nash comes out of the corner and shoots. Save Niemi. He's got the puck.
Well, and the Rangers missed an opportunity. That was Brent Burns, the defenseman, that got caught in the far corner. The Rangers came down 4-on-2, then misfired on the pass. They eventually ended up with the chance by Rick Nash after he made a good play, but Burns, the offensive-minded defenseman for the San Jose Sharks, who is going to the All-Star game, gets caught up. He says that's the one thing about switching back to defense is, you know, some of the plays of when to go and when not to, making those decisions.
His 4th season in San Jose after spending his first 6 in Minnesota. St. Louis against Braun. Now Stepan for St. Louis, broken up by Braun. Out comes Joe Thornton. Down the right side goes Marleau to the net. Thornton's pass blocked. Good play by Dan Girardi. Big play with Marleau breaking to the net. Out for Thornton. And now Brendan Dillon got partially blocked by Derek Stepan. Stepan takes over.
By the way, they have re-added the assist to Dan Girardi, which they should have. They took the assist to Girardi and Stepan away on the Kreider goal for some reason. Not sure why, but now they have re-added them, which was a good thing.
And so the original call stands.
Sam, the Rangers won 5 faceoffs in the first period, and both their goals were scored off faceoff. They won 1 faceoff. That was the Kreider goal by Stepan.
And that's something the coaches talked about with us before the LA game, Joe, was doing something after the faceoff. Even if you lose the faceoff, find a way to get to the puck.
Yeah, well, their wings have done a good job. They won. The Rangers won only 26% of the faceoffs in the first period. They win 5, they lose 14, they come away with a 2-0 lead. And congratulations to Rick Nash. Boy, what a season he's had. He's such a well-liked person that you're just happy for the guy, that after all the criticism that he's been through and the injuries and whatnot, he never complained, never used any excuses, but he came back ready to play this season in good shape and healthy, and going to the All-Star game.
Last year here in San Jose was a nightmare for the Rangers team and for Rick Nash when he suffered a concussion. Goodrow for Ty McGinn. Out to Scott Hannon. That was played by Stahl. Good job by Mark Stahl. Stahl gets it across. The shot by Miller just wide. He had room. Stepniak fires wide. Dominic Moore gets there. All the way around to Lee Stepniak. Stepniak checked there by Desjardins. Dominic Moore. That's deflected away by Goodrow. He bumped Stahl. Stahl went down. McGinn with a puck. Rangers get back and even things up with room. Goodrow's shot saved off of Lundqvist into the crease. He was blocked away. Back behind the net. Barclay Goodrow sends it up the boards to Vlasic. All the way across. Shot by Burns wide. Oh, from a standstill position, Burns just turned and fired. And man, does he get a lot on his job. Puck kept in by Joe Pavelski. Now it's Logan Couture trying to get it through to Carlson. Melker Carlson had it taken away. Rangers did a good job. Dan Boyle broke up the play. Niemi leaves it for Burns. Past Vlasic. Rangers have it. Girardi and McDonough. Once again, Rangers not a little slow getting started here. That shot blocked away by Niemi and out of play up into the crowd. 3:21 gone by here in the second.
Yeah, we've talked about the play of Mark Stahl throughout. Watch Mark Stahl. He's over there. The telestrator's a little off, but anyway, he's on that side. Now watch the play makes with his stick right there, and then he keeps going. Now he knocks the puck out of midair there, and then he makes the pass over the other side. It turns into that scoring chance. Beautiful work with the stick by Mark Stahl.
Step on St. Louis and Kreider on. Face-off win by Patrick Marleau. Marleau chased by St. Louis, who got a piece of it. Nieto around the boards. Stopped by Stepan. Nieto takes it, chips it off the boards nicely to Marleau. Marleau moves in and shoots wide. Around the boards and out to center. Stepan feeds Kreider. Now McDonough tried to change up as he was checked by Justin Braun. Back behind the net, Kreider. Kreider looking. Feeds St. Louis. It's by him. Stahl gets over to keep it in. Stahl toward the net. Save Niemi with a left pad. Played by Kreider for St. Louis. St. Louis shoved to the boards by Brendan Dillon. And the puck taken back by Justin Braun. Off the boards, out of the zone. Stahl has it back. And here comes Brassard. Kreider goes to the net. The setup for Boyle. The shot blocked in front. And out comes Tommy Wingels. Wingels with Tomas Hertl. Long shot wide. Boyle sweeps it across. Vlasic. And now Burns. Up ahead. Shepard to Tommy Wingels. Wingels puts it all the way through.
Klein again with a good defensive job, lifting the stick.
Vlasic, that's blocked by Klein. Vlasic again finds a man down low. The setup. Hertl set up first. Save, rebound, save! Oh, Lundqvist does it again. Shot by Vlasic wide. Back behind the net. Shepard in front. Klein intercepts. Klein circles the net. Up the boards for Nash. He gets it out of the zone. Lundqvist on his game.
Now, Lundqvist was saying this morning about this streak. He says, you know, it's so much fun to play this way.
Give away to Shepard. Down low. It's deflected wide by McGinn. Time McGinn. Winds it to Goodrow. Goodrow's taken down on the play. Kind of a delayed reaction. Fans wanted a call on Mark Stahl. Hannon pressured by Jesper Fast.
And you know, Sam, Henrik Lundqvist wasn't talking about himself. He said the team, the way the team's playing, the way the team's winning. It's fun. And they said, we just got to keep every game. He said, you just got to keep pushing, keep pushing. And is he ever pushing in this one?
Finding different ways. Fans trying to get the Sharks going. Rangers with a 2-0 lead. The puck all the way down. This will be an icing on San Jose. 6:16 gone by here in the second. 2-0 Rangers.
Yeah, good shift by San Jose. Good pressure, and Lundqvist has had to make the more difficult of the saves in this game. He just is focused there. Right pad, that one, and then he gets that one with the left arm. Here it is again. Kick out, back into position. Left arm, shoulder, that side. He was in, you know, that quick move to get back into position after he makes the first save. So fast to get set up. And then he's in the right position so he can make a second save.
As he told us on the pregame show in L.A., he wanted to play that game in L.A., but he knows the coaches have the plan, the schedule, and look how effectively it works. He is sharp to start this game.
He bought into this, playing 60 to 65 games a season, but still doesn't like it.
Again, with a shot save, you're right. He wouldn't mind playing 75 to 80.
He knows it works. He knows it's the right thing to do, but doesn't like it.
He loves the puck going wide of the net.
He's such a competitor. Oh, boy. There's not many that compete harder, and not only games, but you watch him in practice, as we see every day.
Stempniak got a piece of it. It was knocked the other way. Pavelski moves across. Shot by Couture. Saved by Lundqvist and no rebound. Sharks pressured, got a turnover, got a scoring chance. Lundqvist stopped it.
The San Jose Sharks have 17 shots on goal in this game, and that man right there has stopped them all. What a game he's playing thus far. We're still early in the second period, but Henrik Lundqvist has been right on top of his game. Knocked down, stopping everything down low, shoulders, pads, you name it. How about this sequence? 1, 2 right there. That was just moments ago. What a performance here in San Jose by Lundqvist.
He's won 3 in a row, giving up 4 goals in those 3 wins. 10-1 in his last 11, with 18 goals against. Burns across to Vlasic. Zuccarello is there. McDonough's there. Zuccarello moves it up the boards. Put back in. McDonough with Pavelski on him. 2 University of Wisconsin products. Pavelski preceded McDonough by a couple of seasons at Wisconsin. Brent Burns. And now Vlasic to Burns. Good work in the neutral zone by the Rangers.
Yeah, you know, San Jose in the offseason, remember they stripped Joe Thornton of the captaincy and, you know, got all over Marlowe and all that kind of thing. And a lot of people think that if they do name a captain, it'll be Pavelski.
There is Zuccarello going deep, cutting in on Dillon. The puck slides into the crease, and Niemi covers it and stops play. 7:47 gone by in the second period. Experience blue shirt action in a suite at Madison Square Garden this season. A limited number of single-night suites are now available. Visit NewYorkRangers.com/suites or call 212-465-6771 to reserve yours today. Dan Boyle in the slot, Stepan, and it's put it just wide. Put into the crease to Marty St. Louis, and he tipped it just wide.
You know, last year when Marty St. Louis was with Tampa Bay, he had a 4-goal game against Niemi. He's got one tonight, and that one there, he doesn't know how he missed it. Either do I.
That was some fabulous passing by the Rangers. Really moved the puck quickly. Dillon across to Braun. It's outside the zone. Offside.
I think this puck just exploded off his stick. It was kind of a hard pass. But there he is. You'll see St. Louis eventually, right? Beautiful pass by Kreider, who's having a heck of a game. St. Louis turns, and he only had 6 feet.
He'll be shaking his head on that one.
Yeah, he was talking this morning about this. He says, you know what? He says, none of this has to do with having the puck. He says, all this has to do with 5 players playing without the puck, being in a position to help each other. He said, if one of the 5 is not in position, it affects everybody else. He says, that's the big reason why they've done this.
Jesper Fast in on the defense with a hit on Tennyson. Here's Klein moving down. Klein carries toward the net. Foss with a shot, stopped by Niemi. Foss checked by Tennyson. And the puck off the stick of John Moore.
I'm not so sure that Kevin Klein shouldn't be in the All-Star game.
Man, he has played some good hockey for the Rangers. That's whistled down for an icing on the Rangers.
Boy, what a play. I mean, such a heady player. He's a good skater. Look at what he does here. And then said, well, I got a little bit of room to take it to the front. Foss, his first shot was blocked, got a second one. Niemi stopped that one. He has really been a tremendous player for the Rangers. How about that? The All-Star defenseman, Sam. Only one defenseman from the Eastern Conference was named to the All-Star game, and that was Justin Falk of Carolina.
Wow.
Every team is represented, and Falk the only Eastern Conference defenseman.
Face-off win by the Sharks. Vlasic played it wide in the net. Desjardins after it with Klein there to move it. But Burns pinched in. Long shot goes wide. Vlasic for Desjardins. 2 men there, Moore and Klein. Hagelin able to get it to Kevin Klein, who skates it clear. And the lead for Jesper Fast. Long shot gloved by Niemi, and he holds it. 9:23 gone by in this second period. Jesper Fast has fit in very well on this line with Kevin Hayes and Carl Hagelin.
How about what Alain Vigneault was saying about Jesper Fast before the game? He says every shift he gives it his all. You know, he says he's so exemplary when you just watch his work ethic on every shift. Gets to the front of the net, works to get there, not intimidated, gets in on the forecheck. He just couldn't say enough good things about the way Foss approaches each game.
What Foss likes about that line, he was telling us this morning, is that they spend more time in the offensive zone.
Yeah. Well, they're quick.
Along the boards, shot by Couture, and a good save by Lundqvist, ready for it. 4-man rush by the Rangers. Pass through to Kreider, broken up by Tennyson. Kreider's stick was slashed out of his hand.
That was by Tennyson after he made the play.
Stepan clears it out. St. Louis is there. Now McDonough. Kreider's got a new stick. McDonough against Marlowe.
Actually, that was Burns that made the play. 88, not 80.
Not 80. Okay. And Big Burns, if he slashes you, you feel it. Lundqvist to Miller, who reverses past Dan Boyle. Stempniak trying to clear it, blocked by Dillon. Around the other side, Nieto. In deep for Thornton. Thornton turns, pass across, broken up by Dominic Moore. Pass intended for the defenseman, Brendan Dillon. All the way down it goes. Into the crease, stopped by Niemi. Pressure on Braun. Braun moved it to Thornton. Thornton plays it out. Rangers turn it over. Carried back in by Miller, but he was stopped by Thornton. Marlowe. Dominic Moore takes it away from him. Moore slides it across Stempniak. Gets it out of the zone. Miller gets to it. Dillon on him. Miller drives to the net and shoots. Saved by Niemi. Braun check to the boards. Stempniak trying to move it. Nice play by Stempniak. Fired out by Brassard to Mark Stahl. The shot blocked in front. Braun lifts it. Got knocked down. Braun tries again, and it's whistled down. It was touched with a high stick by the Sharks. Face off in the Sharks zone. 8:34 to go in the second. 2-0. Rangers leading.
This has been another year of growth for JT Miller. Just 21, still makes a few mistakes like right here. Instead of getting it in deep, Joe Thornton makes the play on him, turns it the other way. But how about later on the shift? He's not finished. Then he does things like this. Good, strong power move on Dillon, who was defending, and gets a shot on Niemi. But he certainly, when you look at both sides of the ledger, the positive things that he's done as a player have far outweighed some of the negatives. But it continues to be a learning experience, and that's what you would expect from somebody who's 21.
That yo-yo experience has come to an end. He's here to stay. And up and down from New York to Hartford looks like it's over. As he has established himself and shown that he can do a lot of things on the ice. That pass intercepted by McDonough. Carries back in, leaves for Zuccarello. Long shot high, bangs off the glass. Fired toward the net, blocked by Burns. Burns stops the puck, swings it around. Girardi pinching in. Vlasic tried to clear it. Nash stopped it. And Couture took it back. And he's hit along the boards by Zuccarello. Brassard picks it up. Burns plays it back to Vlasic. Shots are even for the game at 18. No scoring here in the second period. Rangers leading 2-0. Carl Hagelin looking. Long shot saved. Niemi as Foss just missed the deflection in front. John Moore in deep. Moore checked by Vlasic. Couture trying to move it. And does. Tommy Wingels. Gets it into the Ranger zone. Klein stepping in front of Hurdle. Hurdle gets in front of Klein. Into the corner, Shepard. Out for the long shot wide. Taken by Tennyson. Hannon shot. That's blocked in front. Kevin Hayes. Nice pass through to Hagelin. Klein is stopped by Wingels, and Tomas Hurdle takes it back. Hurdle missed the second half of last season with a knee injury. Came back in the playoffs. But after we saw him early in the season, he looked like he was a Rookie of the Year candidate. And then got hurt. Long shot, knocked down. Side of the net. Klein bangs it in the corner. Takes over. St. Louis is there. Stopped by Desjardins. John Moore and Barclay Goodrow. Now time again. Checked by John Moore. Stepan tries to move it. Here's Goodrow. Braun across to Dillon. Out to him, St. Louis. McGinn behind the net against John Moore. Moore stays with him. Good job. Dillon across to Braun. Long shot knocked down by Kevin Klein. Kreider went down. Sharks take it. Long shot steered away by Lundqvist. Long time in the zone for the Sharks. Yeah, they make a line change.
No scoring chances. Everything to the outside.
Braun toward the net. Blocked in front. Didn't get through. Quick shot blocked again by John Moore. Now Thornton takes over. Thornton looking. In deep, Braun, the defenseman, centers. And the Rangers able to take it away and finally get out of the zone. Dumped in by Kreider.
What a job of blocking shots. They had to block 5 or 6 attempted shots.
Miller up the boards, but nobody there all the way back. Mark Stahl comes back to get it. And Nieto after him. Here's Dan Boyle. Tied up by Joe Thornton. Boyle keeps it alive. Stahl pokes it loose to Stempniak. And across to Miller. Just under 5 minutes to go in the second period. Rangers leading 2-0. First period goals by Marty St. Louis and Chris Kreider. Out of the zone, Girardi puts it on goal. Brent Burns stopped by Stempniak. And the puck picked up and brought in by Carlson. Put in front. Carlson shot blocked by Girardi. Hagelin was tied up by Carlson. Rangers can't get it out. Pass down low from Couture. Missed. And McDonough had it knocked away. Pavelski hits the crossbar. And it goes out of play. All the Sharks are putting on pressure, but the Rangers finding a way to keep it out of the net. Upcoming schedule brought to you by Lexus, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Rangers. No easy ones. Back home Tuesday night against the Islanders. Thursday at Boston. Friday night at Columbus. All games on MSG. All start at 7, preceded 1/2 hour by Visa. Rangers game night.
Now, Joe Pavelski led all NHL players with 9 goals in December and has this chance. Off the crossbar. It looked like Lundqvist might have just got a piece of it. Then 3 pretty good minutes by San Jose in the Ranger end.
Pass back to Vlasic. Moves it ahead. Burns fires, but wide. Might have been looking for a deflection from Pavelski. Pavelski checked by Klein. Klein tried to move it. The pass back to Vlasic. Now Brent Burns across the Couture. Toward the net. Blocked by Klein. He steered it into the corner. Rangers try to move it. They do. Zuccarello across for Nash. That's broken up by Brent Burns as the 2 All-Stars meet up. And the puck deflected out of play. And Nash slaps Carlson in the leg.
You know what? Yeah, because Carlson ran into him after the whistle. Gave him a little hit from behind. Carlson is they really like Carlson. He's not a big guy, 6 feet, 180. Tell you what, Nash is getting incensed over this. I mean, the whistle's gone. Watch this. Carlson. Nash gives him the whack back.
No freebies.
Carlson's one of those young Swedish players that really knows the game well.
Hagelin went down.
He got hit with a high stick, I believe. I think the stick of the San Jose player, it looked to me like it might have come up the shaft of Hagelin's stick.
Skates over to the bench.
Dr. Brassard checks him out.
Yeah.
Says, I think you're going to be okay, kid. Let's see. Here it comes. Yeah, it goes right up the shaft. That was Tennyson. And so this will be a real opportunity for the Rangers. They're leading 2-0. The San Jose Sharks have played well and are creating good scoring chances. And if the Rangers could get this power play, which has been really strong lately, if they could get something on this power play leading into the 3rd period, because it's one of those games you don't, other than Lundqvist, you don't feel real comfortable that the game is securely in hand.
4 minutes, high sticking to Tennyson at 16:31. Rangers' first power play of the game. This power play brought to you by Volkswagen. Marlowe able to clear it down. Rangers have Dan Boyle, Marty St. Louis, Derek Stepan, Derek Brassard, and Rick Nash for the power play, which has scored power play goals in 6 of the last 7 games and 8 of the last 10. They are 10 for 23 over the last 7 games. And the one game they didn't score was when they only had a 30-second power play in Anaheim. Nash fires across, just missed Stepan. Boyle to Stepan. Nash. Checked by Braun. Stepan to Boyle. Winds up. The shot deflected by Pavelski. St. Louis spun around. A penalty call
on St. Louis.
Oh, interference is the call. Brassard upset with Pavelski.
Now, St. Louis, I believe, went after Vlasic in the corner. After that shot was deflected. And then there's the play. Oh, that didn't look like mine. I think he had the puck. I mean, they make contact, and they're. I don't understand the call because Vlasic, I believe. Oh, he didn't. No, they're calling it. Okay, he wasn't there. There was enough. There wasn't a lot of contact, but there was enough to make the interference call.
So now they skate 4 aside. Provided there are no other penalties, the Rangers will go back on the power play in 2 minutes with 1:09 remaining. A 4-minute penalty to Tennyson.
The Rangers want to make sure they keep an eye on Brent Burns on defense. 88. Aggressive offensive player that just loves to get involved and move up.
Here's Dominic Moore moving in on Burns, spinning on Burns. It went on goal, and the Emmy steered it into the corner. It's Dominic Moore with Matt Zuccarello, Girardi, and McDonough. Pass given away to Joe Thornton.
Now Moore gave a tough pass to Girardi, threw it hard at his skates, and Girardi had trouble handling it.
Team skating 4 aside with 2 minutes to go in the second period. Rangers leading 2-0. Girardi fires across. And Kreider moves in on Vaughn, who partially blocked the shot. Kreider chases it down. Up the boards for John Moore. Down to Stepan. Stepan checked by Vlasic. And Vlasic able to take it away, but he missed getting it to Melker Karlsson. Klein plays it back to John Moore. Minute 25 to go in this second period. Kreider. Pass was in the skates of Stepan. Stepan puts it in the corner for Kevin Klein. Klein checked by Vlasic. Sets up Brassard. That's partially blocked. Back behind the net. Chased down by Nash. He plays it across. Karlsson clears it out. Race for the puck. Nieto beaten to it by Nash. Good play by Rick Nash. Braun has it back. 1 minute to go in the second period. 20 seconds to go. And the penalty to Marty St. Louis. Here comes Marleau in the front. It slid off him, and Marleau slid into the crease.
Nash again.
And a good job by Nash jumping up to avoid contact with everybody.
You know, it looks like Marleau was going to get a clear shot on Lundqvist, and Nash, who really had a hustling shift. He made the play in the neutral zone, and then how about this one? Oh, he comes back. We've talked about him being a 3-zone player. That's just a real solid defensive play to prevent Marleau from getting a shot.
Look at Nash trying to avoid hurting anybody, jumping up on the crossbar. Yeah. There was Lundqvist there. There was Marleau there. And Big Rick Nash. Good play. 49.9 to go in this period. In 13 seconds, the Rangers will go back on the power play from minute 9. Stepan and Marleau for the face-off. Rangers win it. McDonough's got the puck. Chased by Pavelski. McDonough gets away. Carries in. McDonough goes all the way. Played it off the side of the net, trying to bank it in. It just missed. Rangers on the power play again.
That puck was behind Niemi.
Pass across. Here's McDonough to Stepan. Stepan to Boyle. Boyle waits. St. Louis. St. Louis looking. Side of the net. Zuccarello back to St. Louis. Out to Stepan. He fakes. Feeds Boyle. 12 seconds to go in the period. St. Louis fakes. Sets up Boyle. Deflection wide. Stepan's got it. Burns on him. Clears it. That's it for the period. With 31 seconds remaining in the power play for the Rangers, it'll carry into the third period. Once again, Henrik Lundqvist keeps San Jose off the board. Both goals in the first period. It's still 2-0 Rangers.
Yeah, well, this is a big third period coming up for the Rangers. I'm sure they will discuss that, about having a fabulous trip if they can win that third period. The San Jose Sharks have played well, but Lundqvist has been the difference in the game.
Rangers head off. And coming up, it's the New York Lottery Intermission Report. John Giannone rejoins us. His special guest, one of the goal scorers, Chris Kreider. Bill Pito is back in the studio in New York. He'll have the Audi MSG 150, including updates on the other games around the NHL. Ron Duguay has a look at highlights, and we'll have his analysis of the first two periods, all coming up on the New York Lottery Intermission Report. Rangers scored 2 goals in the first period. Then it's been Henrik Lundqvist doing the job. 2-0 Rangers, end of 2. We are back in San Jose, getting set for the third period. Rangers and the San Jose Sharks. New York Rangers hockey on MSG is presented by Chase. Let's take a look at the Kia Division standings and look at the Metropolitan Division. Washington defeated Detroit tonight 3-1 to jump back ahead of the Rangers as they go back and forth. If the Rangers win, they'll be back in third place. Right now, the Rangers are a wild card team. Boston beat Philadelphia this afternoon. They're in wild card position. And then you see the spread. Columbus struggling, and Philadelphia as well. Let's check out what the coaches are thinking. John Giannone has that report. John.
Yes, Sam, thanks. Pretty honest assessment from Scott Arniel, the associate coach, who said we were pretty sloppy there in the second period. Too many turnovers. Neutral zone play wasn't very good. He said the defensive zone wall coverage wasn't good. He said Henrik Lundqvist saved us on several occasions. When I said, give me the key to the third period, he said smarts. How good we are between the ears is what will win us this hockey game. It's not about brawn. It's not about physicality. It's about playing a real smart, clean third period all over the ice. It's our third game in 4 nights, he said, and if we do that, if we play smart, we'll get out of here with another 2 points.
All right. You saw Scott Arniel say something to his players on the ice. Rangers begin the third period with a man advantage.
Good
28
save.
seconds remaining in the penalty to Matt Tennyson.
Great save.
Who made that save?
Talbot. Talbot with the glove hand right off the face-off. Goes over the boards. Be nice if the Rangers could get a goal here in the power play, and then they wouldn't have to be quite as smart as the coach needs them to be.
Another puck goes flying out of play. This one goes into the Sharks bench.
Joe Thornton fires it up into the stands to someone right behind the Ranger bench.
And let's credit Jim Ramsey. Sent one up, in the one that Talbot caught. He sent that up to a fan in the stands too. Good job by the guys on the bench. McDonough. Rangers man advantage. Has 15 seconds remaining. All the way around the boards. Kept in. There's McDonough again. And the shot hit Braun in front. Is poked away. McDonough sends it across to Dan Boyle. Back to McDonough. Out of the penalty box is Tennyson. Boyle waits, winds up, shot wide. And clear to the sideboards, kept in by McDonough. Deep to Kreider behind the net. Marty St. Louis looking. Finds McDonough wide open. Big shot. Save Niemi, and he holds it. Time for the Cadillac trivia question. Let's check it out. Who is the only goalie in NHL history with 20 wins in each of his first 9 seasons? The only goalie in NHL history with 20 wins in each of his first 9 seasons. We'll be back to you on that. We'll give you a hint. It's not Antti Niemi. That's the only clue we're giving anybody.
We only have 150 others to choose from.
Yeto's pass knocked down. Back into the Shark zone. Brassard gets to it. Brent Burns. 2 goals in the first period. Marty St. Louis and Chris Kreider shot by Stahl, gloved by Niemi, and he holds it. 1:05 gone by here in the third period.
Well, they're playing in the right end of the ice.
Yeah.
The first 2 periods, the start of those periods, the Rangers had all the pressure in their zone. Granted, they started this period on the power play, which helped. But for Alain Vigneault, I'm sure there was a good reminder of, hey, let's have a good push here. Let's make this our best period. You know that San Jose is going to continue to push. They've created a lot of quality chances and given the Rangers some problems in their own zone.
Hayes did a good job with Shepard, and the Rangers able to control the puck. Rangers 17-0-1 this season when they take a lead into the third period. Sharks 4-12-2 and trailing going into the third. Wingels pushing it ahead, but it was offside. A minute 24 gone by in the third. Join the Rangers for Casino Night, and what a night that is. Thursday night, March the 5th at Gotham Hall in Manhattan. Play alongside Ranger players all night long to benefit the Garden of Dreams Foundation. For tickets, visit NewYorkRangers.com or call 212-465-6073. A great, great night to benefit a great cause. Dominic Moore slides it out of the zone. Marlowe going back for it. Stempniak on him. Marlowe able to move it to Joe Thornton. Thornton in against Dan Boyle. Thornton's first shot on goal. Lundqvist made the save and it's cleared out. Thornton and Pavelski had not had a shot on goal through 2 periods. Pavelski did have that hit that crossbar.
Yeah, it's more understandable for Joe Thornton because he's always thinking about passing, and he's got a very good shot. But Pavelski, as we mentioned, he came into this game 6th in the league in shots on goal.
Takeaway, St. Louis, and the shot, good recovery by Vlasic. He lost the puck to St. Louis, but he recovered in time to block the shot.
That's why Vlasic played for Team Canada at the Olympics. He is such an outstanding defensive player. And it looked like Marty St. Louis had this, and then there's the reach. Excellent defensive play by Vlasic. After that bouncing, rolling puck, Vlasic had a little problem with that.
Stepan won the draw. McDonough toward the net, but wide. Kreider chases it down. Brent Burns on him. Pass kicked out by Pavelski. All the way down. Lundqvist goes out to get it. Now McDonough. Faced by Carlson. Good pass to Kreider. Kreider blocked by Pavelski. And Girardi gets it up to Stepan. Now to Marty St. Louis. St. Louis against Brent Burns. Stepan winds it to Kreider. The referee was there. Kreider avoided him. Plays it into the corner. St. Louis. Burns knocks it away. McDonough trying to keep it in. Takes it away from Carlson. Then it's knocked away from Pavelski. Lead to Kreider. Tips it into the Shark zone. Rangers change. Nearly 3 minutes gone by. Third period. Rangers with a 2-0 lead. Brent Burns holding. Long pass ahead for Barclay Goodrow. Goodrow taken down by John Moore. Rangers come away with a puck. Kevin Hayes. Hayes. Hagelin able to play it. Winds it to Hayes. Tips it. Taken by Ty McGinn. McGinn knocked down by Jesper Fast. Fast being very aggressive and physical in this game. Here's Hagelin. Hagelin against Desjardins. Hagelin leaves it for Kevin Klein. Hayes takes it. Hayes slides it in front, and the Sharks able to come away with it. It's Goodrow. Goodrow dumps it into the Rangers zone. Klein back to get it.
Good play by Hayes. Hayes was able to make the play with his skate to steal the puck.
Klein dumps it deep. Rangers thus far have done a good job first 4 minutes of this third period. Getting the puck in the Shark zone. Long shot went off the Emmy as Rick Nash fired from long distance. Good keep in. Brassard leaves it for Nash wide. Nash again. Chopped that by Braun. Nash fighting off the stick check to Braun. Shoots. Save the Emmy. Rebound. Oh! The Emmy got that. He robbed Zuccarello on the rebound. Zuccarello can't believe it.
Neither can I. Spectacular save by Niemi. The Rangers that close to making it a 3-0 game. Good shift by this line. Nash with a couple of chances. There's that one, and then he reaches back. Did the puck go over the goal line? They'll probably take a good look at this as he reaches back. Ooh, that's close. That is really close.
That needs another look.
This one will probably give us a better look. What an effort by Niemi.
Oh, wow. I don't know. Wow.
Got to be able to see the puck, though, right?
You see where the glove is?
Yeah, the glove is
across the goal line. Wow, this is going to be tough.
What an effort, though, by Niemi. I mean, the Rangers can make this 3-0. It's just about over for San Jose. And Zuccarello, if he had a chance to just lift it a little higher. Here it is again. Nash the shot. Niemi one save. Just can't lift it high enough. We think. Maybe he did. They'll continue. They'll take a real close look at this in Toronto. Is this?
Wow,
is that the
Joe.
puck? Yeah, you know what?
In the webbing?
If the puck is,
you know what?
if the puck is back in the webbing is definitely over the line.
In this angle,
It looked like it looked like there's a piece of black, right?
Yeah. Oh boy, the Situation Room in Toronto is looking carefully at the replays.
You know, from the wrist, you know, the wrist of the catching glove. Now that looked like it was on the goal line, but the webbing and the 3/4 of the glove looked like it was over the line.
Right.
That's Jamie Baker, who does the analyst on Sharks television. He's looking at his monitor down between the benches, and so are some of the Rangers looking at that one.
All right.
Here's
you know what, Joe? Right there.
If that's in the webbing, and again, you got to find, which it looks like it is. You know, that I don't think there's any question that that
it looks
crosses,
like it's in.
Yeah, crosses the plane. I think it was in. I'm not sure if they can look at that and say that they're positive that they saw the puck go over.
Referees are Dan O'Halloran, number 13 on your right, Brad Meyer on your left. They're waiting for word from Toronto. Another look from above.
There it is again.
Most of that glove is across the line.
Boy, it's close. It's such a hard call.
If they can see the puck in the webbing there.
It looked like the initial shot didn't go straight into the webbing. It looked like it kind of hit more like the heel of the hand, up closer to the wrist. And then the question is, did it go over? And Niemi says there's no way it was in.
All right, look.
There it is again. Oh, that is in the webbing.
See, now there.
Oh, see, that looks like that's.
That could be the most definitive look.
Well, see, now that proves that it's in the webbing of the glove. And then the other angle shows that the webbing is over the goal line. So that was in. You might have to use two angles to be definitive. First to prove that it was in the netting and not more towards the heel of the glove. And so that was proven on that. And then the other replay showed that the webbing was definitely over the goal line.
Oh boy.
So that was it was in. Good job by our people as always, coming up with those two angles.
Outstanding. Dan O'Halloran's got the headset on, still waiting for word from Toronto.
Here it is again. So now watch the webbing. We've proven that the puck is in the webbing. And that looked like the webbing, and again it's in the back of the webbing of the glove. So even though maybe part of the glove was, the puck looked like, at least to me, that it was over the plane and broke the plane.
And you can see how difficult a call it is, because this is taking longer than usual. They usually are quite definitive.
And I think they did not call it a goal, so it has to be definitive. Right. If they called it, you know, here it is again. It's into the webbing of the glove. And that looks like it's well into the back of the net. Not all the way to the back of the net, but past the plane.
I think that's the best view of all.
Yeah.
All right. Dan O'Halloran has the word. Here comes the decision.
After reviewing the play, there's no conclusive evidence that the puck crossed the goal line.
Okay. And that.
It's a tough call.
You stick with the call on the ice.
It's a difficult call. Yeah. So they want to be conclusive. They want to be able to see, you know, you can take the two different replays, put them together and say, well, and it had to be in. But now the question is, well, okay, but who saw the puck? Right? I mean, you have to see the puck actually go over. I mean, it's probably, when you think about it, makes a lot of sense that it was probably in, because the puck was in the netting and the netting was over the goal line. but you have to see the puck be over the line.
And you said it before, they will go with the call on the ice unless there is conclusive evidence to overturn it. And the people in Toronto did not have that conclusive evidence. Stahl goes down, the puck knocked away by Nieto. Rangers able to get it out of the zone. 5 minutes gone by, third period. Rangers leading 2-0.
Rangers have given up one shot in the first 5 minutes.
They've done a good job getting the puck in the Shark zone.
Well, that's what Scott Arniel told John Gino. There's a big hit.
Miller.
Couture early in this period whacked Kreider with the stick in the knee, and that time JT Miller. JT Miller's hurt, by the way. Very slow going to the bench.
He got that shot on goal from the other side of the red line. Couture moves in, shoots, and it might have gone off the glove of Lundqvist.
I think Lundqvist just got a piece of it, and now a penalty.
Power play for the Sharks at 5:41 of the third period.
JT Miller hurting on the Ranger bench. He really went after Couture here. Gets a piece of it, but then goes awkwardly, kind of head and shoulder first into the boards. He only gets a piece of it, and then that's, oh boy, that's a tough hit. It's his right shoulder, the side of his head. Gets up right away, but no question he was shaky.
Medical trainer Jim Ramsey checking him out. Dominic Moore called for holding. And the Sharks power play. Their second of the game. The first one, the story was Henrik Lundqvist making some brilliant saves. Brent Burns carrying, playing it back for Marleau, taken away by Nash. Nash moves in, Pavelski there, pass back, save Niemi.
What a pass.
He stopped Derek Stepan. 3-on-2 the other way, 4-on-2. Rangers catch up, shot to flush wide. Thornton's got it back.
What a play by Stepan, Sam, defensively. He was caught all the way in the other zone, came all the way back to block the shot.
Thornton with the puck. Pass across to Brent Burns. Hagelin goes to him. Stepan and Hagelin, Girardi and McDonough for the Rangers. 45 seconds gone by in the power play. Couture's shot partially blocked. Was stopped at Couture centers, and Marleau carried it behind the net. Checked by Girardi. McDonough poking at it. Thornton's got it. Back to Matt Tennyson. Across to Vlasic. Vlasic looking. Rangers have Fost on. That shot wide. Thornton's got it. Back to Tennyson. Down to Vlasic. Winds up. Good save. And a beauty. Made by Henrik Lundqvist. Wow.
Vlasic well inside the top of the circle. And Henrik Lundqvist, right from the opening minute of this game, was on top of his game, and it's continued. Here it is. Vlasic with the shot. They did a good job in front. Girardi keeping Marleau off to the side, one-on-one, and Lundqvist won it.
44 seconds remaining in the San Jose power play. 7 minutes gone by here in the third period. Rangers with a 2-0 lead. Kevin Klein moves it, stopped by Vlasic. To Tennyson, mishandled it, has it back. Rangers have Zuccarello and Brassard on. Pass to Shepherd, save, rebound in. The rebound put in by Karlsson. Melker Karlsson, the rookie from Sweden, who now has goals in 5 straight games.
Lundqvist made a beautiful first save. And Karlsson, who started with the pass to the point, came from the corner back to the net. Here's Tennyson to Karlsson. He'll go one way and then go back to the net. That was Shepherd with the initial shot. And then Karlsson is able to get his stick in and beat Stahl to the loose puck to score the power play goal. The shot, good save. Karlsson with the effort to get San Jose to within 1.
Now the Sharks mounting their comeback. Saved by Niemi on St. Louis.
Boy, Sammy, now it makes you think about the save Niemi made on Zuccarello to keep it a 2-0 game.
Puck brought in by Hurdle. He shoots wide. Good shot. He was being checked by Dan Boyle. Now Shepard, save by Lundqvist, and he holds it. Oh, the Sharks putting the pressure on. They have broken through on the goal by Melker Karlsson. From Shepard and Tennyson at 7:14. Rangers lead is 2-1. Goal scorer. Now it's time to answer our Cadillac Trivia Quiz question. Who's the only goalie in NHL history with wins, 20 wins in each of his first 9 seasons? Henrik Lundqvist?
I don't think so.
No?
How about Marty Brodeur?
That's a good one.
Oh, it was Lundqvist. Did he have 20 in that lockout season?
Yeah.
He did, huh?
Yeah. He's looking for another one.
I should never doubt you on those answers.
That was a gimme. They gave that to me. Lundqvist has made 26 saves in this game. Braun. A little over 8 minutes gone by in the third. Rangers lead is 2-1. Patrick Marleau drops it off to Joe Thornton. Thornton to Marleau. Nieto is in front. Out to Vlasic. Throws it ahead. Thornton drops it off for Marleau. Good job by McDonough staying on Marleau. Thornton checked by Girardi. And Vlasic. Sharks playing keep away but didn't shoot the puck at all. Rangers were able to clear it down the ice.
Rangers kept everything to the outside.
Brent Burns. Now Vlasic met by Nash. Taken away by Kevin Klein. Klein carries in. Try to play it toward the net. Vlasic got a piece of it. Nash comes around the net. Fires all the way across. Zuccarello stops it. Sets up Klein. Shot blocked. Goes into the corner. Broussard swings it around the board. Zuccarello is there and shoots. It didn't get through. I believe it hit somebody in front. Couture puts it in the Ranger zone. Lundqvist. Couture tried to take it. It was Pavelski who tried to take it away from Lundqvist. Lundqvist did a good job. Rangers send in. And make a quick change. Scott Hannon. Veteran defenseman who started in San Jose, has moved around a bit, and he was back in San Jose. All the way around the boards. Boyle reverses to John Moore.
Nice play, John Moore. Played another good game.
Good little pass to Kevin Hayes. Sharks send it back. Rangers have to go and get it. Coming down to the midway point, third period. Boyle up to glass. Down the ice it goes. This will be an icing on the Rangers. Play stops with 10:03 to go. In the third, Rangers leading 2-1. This spring, Broadway's biggest spectacular will be at Radio City Music Hall. You've got to get there for the New York Spring Spectacular starring the Rockettes. March 12th through May 3rd. Visit rockettes.com/spring. If you've seen the Christmas Spectacular, you'll love the Spring Spectacular.
Big face-off here for Kevin Hayes. Does a good job getting the tie.
Play toward the net, saves with a blocker by Lundqvist. Shot snuck through by Brendan Dillon.
Now, Joe Thornton, who's over 57% on face-offs this season, was thrown out against Kevin Hayes there, so Marleau had to go in, and Kevin Hayes did a nice job against him.
Morgan for Marleau. Stepan is there. Good job by Stepan. Back around for McDonough. St. Louis breaks out with Kreider. St. Louis cuts to the middle. Drops it back for Girardi. Toward the net. Knocked down by Vlasic. Played behind the net. And Burns swings it around for Shepard. Shepard stopped by McDonough. Niemi around to Nieto. Nieto lifts it. Bounce down off the glass. And now it's cleared out. Here's Shepard. Takes a hit from Klein.
Kevin Klein has been excellent tonight. He has just been so solid, making plays without the puck, and then when he's had the puck.
Lifted across. Dominic Moore indeed. Feed to Stempniak. His shot blocked by Wingels. Hannon's got it. Oh, Klein has been one of the most consistent players on this team.
He just continues to make good play after good play. He heads up when he's got the puck. There's another one. Instead of just getting rid of it up the board so he can make a change, he keeps control of it. Now the Rangers can take their time, get fresh players on the ice, and try to go forward.
Zuccarello took it in the zone. Brassard hustling to it. Checked there by Braun. Shoves him down, pins him down, stays on top of him. Brassard gets up, keeps the puck alive. Winds behind the net. Zuccarello gets there. Zuccarello pulled down. Penalty on Couture. Good job by Matt Zuccarello. Rangers get a power play with 8:02 to go in the third period. Logan Couture goes off. Rangers power play opportunity. Kevin Klein, a little bit of everything. Physical, too.
It's Logan Couture. He's in the penalty box for holding Matt Zuccarello. Good job by Zuccarello. Look at the hustle. He gets in first, gets the puck, tries to protect it with his body, and then Couture pulls him down. And so the Rangers, clinging to this one-goal lead with 8:02 to go, have a chance in the power play.
They're 0 for 2 in the game. They had that double minor, which was broken up by a penalty to Marty St. Louis. Rangers have Brassard taking the face-off. Brassard, Nash, Stepan, Boyle, and St. Louis for the power play.
All right, 4 forwards and a defenseman. You got to be aware of San Jose trying to get something shorthanded here. Just one defenseman on the ice for the Rangers.
Boyle, Pavelski on him. Up the boards, the lead to St. Louis. Pass taken away by Nieto. Matt Nieto with a shot. Club save by Lundqvist. Ooh, just what you said, Joe. Turnover and a quick chance for Matt Nieto.
Yeah, Nieto's got great speed. He just reaches out, intercepts the puck. Now, Marty St. Louis tried to make the pass across. Fired it quickly. Good save, Lundqvist.
7:43 to go in the third. 1:42 to go in the Rangers power play. Stepan wins it back. Dan Boyle heads up. Boyle for Stepan, who deflected it ahead. Justin Braun around, and it's fired off the boards and out of the zone. Boyle with the lead to St. Louis. Back to Boyle. Now Stepan around the boards it goes. Brassard, Nash there. It's taken away by Wingels. Gets it to Desjardins. Desjardins moves in. That's deflected. A shot by Vlasic. And he went into the net with Kreider.
St. Louis,
rather St. Louis.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Another turnover, and I think this time they'll send 2 defensemen on the ice. They come out now, but Marty St. Louis came back, and it almost looked like Vlasic did get a shot. So turnover, here they come. St. Louis comes back. He stays on that side, but Vlasic works hard to get his stick on the puck. Goes past, goes off the skate. Maybe he didn't touch it with his stick. It might have just gone off the skate of St. Louis.
Second power play unit on. Miller with Zuccarello, Kreider, McDonough, and Girardi, and almost a little confusion as to who was going to handle that puck.
Hit the glass, the stanchion.
Here's Miller. Pass blocked by Brent Burns. Goodrow tried to fire it around. It was blocked. Does it again. Kicked in deep by Girardi. 35 seconds to go in the power play. That's deflected out by Goodrow. McDonough with the puck. 6.5 minutes to go in the third. Rangers not getting anything going on this power play. Zuccarello. Hagelin all the way across for Miller. Miller looks, fires for McDonough, but that was tipped by Pavelski.
Good job with the stick. Stick in the right place for Pavelski.
Lundqvist long pass to Hagelin. Off the boards. Vlasic tried to drive it out, blocked by Dominic Moore. Power play is over. Teams at full strength. Rangers a 2-0 lead. Just under 6 minutes to go in the third. Blocked by Hagelin. Back into the corner. Hagelin for Stempniak. Stempniak puts it in front. It goes by Dominic Moore. Stahl shoots. Blocked in front. Moore looking for it. And it's knocked down by Kevin Klein. Klein lifts it back into the Shark zone.
That's a good shift for the Rangers after not being very sharp on the power play.
Thornton pass off the boards to Nieto. Nieto stopped by Jesper Fast. Thornton digging it loose. Kept in by the Sharks. Nieto trying to play it. Fast able to get it out of the zone.
Big shift for Hayes versus Thornton in the middle.
Off the boards, Kevin Hayes. Thornton picked his pocket. Thornton off the boards to Nieto. Now Dillon forced back by Kreider. Brendan Dillon. Matt Tennyson, 5 minutes to go in the third. 2-0 Rangers. Tennyson hard around the boards. That's whistled down for an icing. He didn't get to the red line. Bad play by Matt Tennyson. 4:56 to go. Tuesday night, Rangers are back home at Madison Square Garden. And who's there to meet them in their first game back? The New York Islanders. Islanders in first place in the Metropolitan Division. Rangers closing in. It all begins at 6:30. Visa Rangers game night with Al Trautwig. Then at 7, Rangers and the Islanders on MSG. Don't miss it. Brassard and Thornton. 4:56 remaining. Rangers leading 2-1. Nash. Brassard and Dillon tied up. Zuccarello gets to it. Dillon dropped his stick. Zuccarello finds Brassard. Pass back to Nash. Off the side of the net. Zuccarello trying to pass that was intercepted by Thornton. He tried to get it through to Brassard. Moving in is Marleau. Drives to the net, but carried it wide.
I think the puck was knocked off his stick, Sam. I'm not sure if it was Lundqvist or maybe even Boyle.
Stahl and Boyle are on. Boyle lifted it. Stahl got it to Nash. His pass blocked. Boyle drives it off the board. Stopped by Vlasic. In deep for Hertl. He's checked by Boyle. Lundqvist stops play. 4:11 to go in the third period. The Rangers with a 2-1 lead. Patrick Marleau driving hard to the net, and it went wide. The game recap is brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. Marty St. Louis with the first goal of the game in the first period. Chris Kreider, the second goal of the game, also has an assist. And Melker Karlsson with a goal for San Jose, giving him a 5-game goal-scoring streak.
Let's go back to the early 90s. When, what was Friesen's first name? Remember when he was a rookie here for the San Jose Sharks?
Oh,
Jeff Friesen had a five-game consecutive goal mark. So he ties that.
We welcome those of you who are watching on MSG Plus. Sam Rosen, Joe Micheletti, John Giannone here in San Jose. 4:11 to go, third period. Rangers scored 2 goals in the first period. They've held the lead. The Sharks have scored a power play goal here in the third. It's 2-1. The Rangers are trying to complete a sweep of California and trying to extend their latest winning streak.
Now, the Rangers led 2-0 when this save was made by Niemi. They reviewed it. Took a long time to review it. And then the penalty by Dominic Moore. The rebound goal by Karlsson. And that was a goal that brought San Jose back to within 1. And that's where we stand with 4:03 to play.
Rangers, Dominic Moore chase. Stempniak in for the face-off. Sharks have it. Justin Braun fires in. And it deflects over the glass into the crowd. 3:57 to go in the third period. Rangers with a 2-1 lead. Rangers have won 4 in a row, 12 of their last 13. Stephane St. Louis and Kreider on against Joe Thornton, Patrick Marleau, and Matt Nieto. Deep into the Shark zone, Brent Burns. Burns holding, Kreider on the forecheck. Long pass, Marleau got a stick on it in the Ranger zone. It's whistled down. Whistled down for an offside.
Joe Thornton was offside on the far side. Tried to sneak behind one of the Ranger players. And so that's the offside call.
3:39 to go. And Alain Vigneault makes another line change. Brassard, Nash, and Zuccarello come on. It's Stahl and Klein. Sharks control. Marleau with a long shot, gloved by Lundqvist. Plays it off the boards. Stopped by Brent Burns. Klein knocks it away from Thornton. Vlasic there to play it. Marleau, long shot high off the glass. Burns goes in deep for the puck. Off the skate, batted away from in front by Zuccarello. Thornton. Out to Marleau. Missed his shot. Bouncing puck. Nash was able to get it out of the zone. Back in. Thornton with that long reach poked it away from Zuccarello. Zuccarello able to move it to Klein.
Good work by Zuccarello to stay with it, but this is going to be an icing.
2:55 to go.
Wouldn't surprise me if there was a timeout here by Alain Vigneault. Meanwhile, just prior to that, a set play off the faceoff. Patrick Marleau is normally a wing. You don't see him. The one on the right side, that's the defenseman Burns. So Joe Thornton wins it back. There's Marleau over on the other side, and he's able to get the wrist shot on Lundqvist.
Alain Vigneault waited as long as he could as they were getting set for the face-off. He signaled timeout. Gives the Rangers a little breather. Tonight on MSG, join Bill Pito, E.J. Raddick, Steve Valiquette, and Johnny Mack, John McClain, as they break down the local hockey scene and take you around the NHL to check it all out on Hockey Night Live right after the game here on MSG. 2:55 to go here in the third period.
Again, faceoffs always so crucial. Through two periods, the Rangers had only won 29%. This is going to be another one. Joe Thornton out there. Pavelski also very good on faceoffs, but he'll line up on the boards. Or pardon me, Couture will take this faceoff.
Look at those faceoff numbers. 2-1.
That's ugly. And now Couture will try and win it straight back. Right behind him is Pavelski, who again leads them in goals with 21.
And Carlson, who has been the hot man, is the man to the inner edge of the circle. Right near him is Rick Nash. They've been going at one another during play and after whistles. Face-off win by the Sharks. Long shot goes into the corner. Shot that by Nash.
Pavelski just missed. Pardon me, Sam.
Up the boards, out of the zone. Pavelski recovers. 2:40 to go. Vlasic. Around the boards it goes. Stempniak is there. Stempniak tied up. Little pass for Moore. Nash picks it up and carries it out. Dumps it in from the red line. 2:25 to go. Around the boards for Vlasic. Over to him, Stempniak. Slows him down. Hagelin kept it in the zone. Dominic Moore winds it behind the net. Hurdles bumped by Stempniak. Hagelin takes it away and shoots. Save Niemi. What a play by Carl Hagelin coming out of the corner and trying to surprise Niemi with a shot.
He was relentless. He started on one side of the ice, worked hard. The Rangers kept it in, then went to the other side. There's Hagelin, makes that little push, steals the puck. And Niemi has to make a glove save. Good shift by that line.
2:08 to go in this third period. 2-1 Rangers leading it. Stepan, St. Louis, and Kreider on with Stahl and Klein. Stepan won the draw. Klein winds it to Kreider. Checked there by Braun. Kreider maintains possession. Good job by Kreider. Now Braun takes it, works it around the boards. Cannon stopped by St. Louis. Shepard trying to get it out of the zone does, but the Rangers have it back. Stahl to Klein with 1:45 to go. Stahl heads up ice. All the way across, tipped in by Zuccarello. He chases after it against Matt Tennyson. Braun takes it. Sharks move down. Thornton on the puck, 1.5 minutes to go. Back pass. Pavelski. The net is empty. Niemi has gone to the bench for an extra skater. Shot by Couture. Block. Goes in the corner. Zuccarello lifts it out of the zone. Off a glove. Picked up by Brassard. Brassard across the red line. Had it taken away. Tennyson. Couture gets taken down. Zuccarello pokes at it. One of the Rangers taken down. That was Brassard. Zuccarello with a takeaway lead for Nash. Nash moves in to the empty net. Nash looking to shoot. He scores! He held it. He held it and finally found the opening. Rangers lead 3-1 with just under a minute to go.
You don't think that goal makes Dan Boyle happy? Before Nash was able to control the puck, I believe it was Brassard that makes a play. Right there. Or was it Zuccarello? Either way, good hard play on the boards, and then the ability of Nash to hold on, protect the puck. It was Zuccarello that makes a defensive play, and the effort by Nash. 3 players back, and Nash beats all of them and puts it in.
Under a minute to go. It's 3-1 Rangers, and they are about to complete an incredible sweep. Anaheim, LA, and San Jose. 3 and 4 nights.
They just don't do that in California, those teams.
Half a minute to go. Rick Nash with his 26th goal of the season. Tyler Seguin and Dallas played this afternoon. I'm not sure if he scored. He did not. So Rick Nash is tied for the goal-scoring lead in the NHL with 26. Nash, 26th empty net goal from Zuccarello at 19 minutes. 5 seconds to go. Hertl moves toward the net. Hertl shoots off the back of the net. That's it. The Rangers have defeated the San Jose Sharks 3-1. Big night on a big return for Dan Boyle, but what a night for Henrik Lundqvist in goal with 30 saves. And the Rangers complete the sweep of California and the sweep of the West. They also won the Canadian West. Wow.
Some kind of streak, and they've done it many different ways. Most of the wins have been from good, solid defense, high scoring, not giving up many scoring chances. This one was not one of those. This was that guy right there. The Rangers did not get off to a good start. San Jose really came out after him, and Lundqvist early on kicking him out. He continued it, but the Rangers still found a way to win.
See that note on Lundqvist? That's the new answer to the Cadillac Trivia Quiz. 10 seasons with 20 wins.
I'm going to try and remember that.
The Rangers walk off with quite a win. Dan Boyle returns to San Jose. He's got a big smile on his face. The Rangers win it 3-1. They've won 5 in a row.